always lived in the borderland anyway. Somewhere between this world and the other. Tristan Ludlow, Tristan the Wild.
So this is Tristan, and does he speak English?
In 1994, Jim Harrison's celebrated novel, Legends of the Fall, made its transition from page to screen. With a skilled director at the helm and a star-studded cast, the film not only achieved box office success, but also garnered an Oscar.
The Oscar goes to John Toll for Legends of the Fall.
More importantly, it offered audiences a chance to explore and experience some of the darkest and most beautiful facets of the human spirit, all from the safety and comfort of the cinema or their living rooms. It accomplished this feat by allowing us to follow the tumultuous journey of a vast gallery of unique characters, each with contrasting personalities and spirits, yet all connected by the Ludlow family's values, the haunting wilderness of Montana, and the deep and natural influence of the spiritual lifestyle of the Native Americans. In this video, we will delve into the character of Tristan, portrayed by Brad Pitt in the cinematic masterpiece Legends of the Fall. Tristan Ludlow is central to Legends of the Fall because he embodies the themes of the story: the wild, untamed spirit of nature, the complexities of love and loss, and the relentless passage of time. Through his relationships and experiences, Tristan's journey explores the struggle between civilization and the primitive, the depths of family bonds, the pain of grief, and the search for identity and redemption, making him stand out as the very heart of the story. This video will be structured around 4 chapters and an epilogue. And before we begin, if you haven't seen the movie yet, pause this video, go watch the movie, and then return here. Trust me, you won't regret it. In Chapter 1, I will share with you why I adore Tristan as much as I do. In Chapter 2, we will focus on the spirituality presented in the book and the movie, while we in Chapter 3 will explore the darker side of his character. And in Chapter 4, we explore the primary archetypes and spirits, which makes Tristan such a compelling character. Last but not least, we close the video with a special message in the epilogue. Now that you know what to expect, let's get into it, starting with me sharing why Tristan enjoys such a special place in my heart. As a woman, I find Tristan Ludlow's character in Legends of the Fall incredibly captivating, embodying qualities that, to me, seems rare in modern men. His deep emotional depth draws me in. His raw and unfiltered expressions of grief, guilt, and love are so refreshing in a world where male vulnerability is often hidden away. Tristan's connection to the realm of spirit, nature, and his own wild, untamed spirit symbolizes a freedom and authenticity that I really crave, talking directly to my personal desire for spontaneity and a deeper, more primal connection to life. His strength and protectiveness are also incredibly attractive, demonstrating a powerful, primal aspect of masculinity that I find both reassuring and quite compelling. But what makes Tristan especially unique is his role as a wounded healer. Despite his own suffering, he still manages to show a level of empathy and compassion that is deeply moving. His ability to heal and support others even when he's struggling with his own pain, speaks to a kind of emotional resilience and depth that I really admire. His intense love for Susanna and Isabel too, marked by an unwavering devotion and deep emotional connection, stands in stark contrast to the often superficial relationships that I experience and see around me. Finally, and maybe most importantly, Tristan's authenticity and integrity, living by his own code of ethics and refusing to conform to societal expectations, really sets him apart. In a world where these qualities can be hard to find, even among the closest of family, Tristan's character embodies the kind of man I yearn for. One who is deeply connected to his nature, his emotions, unafraid to live fully, and committed to loving and protecting those close to him. Do you agree or disagree? Let us know in the comments what your perspective is on Tristan. But for now, let us continue our spiritual analysis of Tristan in Legends of the Fall. At the heart of Legends of the Fall lies a deep love for nature and the wild, serving as a spiritual backdrop for the entire story. The majestic wilderness of Montana is far more than a setting. It is a character, a spirit in its own right, symbolizing the raw, untamed forces of life that enable the Ludlow family's spiritual journey. This natural world is given a voice through the Native Americans, who are not only treated as mentors and the closest of family by the Ludlows, but also serves as the film's narrators. Tristan Ludlow, in particular, embodies the essence of being deeply connected to nature. His affinity with the wild, his intimate relationships with the Native Americans, his shamanic encounters, and his understanding of animal spirits all highlight his bond with the natural world. This animistic, primal way of life continually clashes with the so-called modern world, forming one of the film's central themes. The story even begins with such a clash.
I try to help the people.
As Tristan's father rejects modern society after witnessing its systematic and vile behavior towards the Native Americans, prompting the Ludlow family's move to Montana in search of a simpler life of healing and peace. Though the Ludlow family is a religious and Christian household, their way of life is deeply influenced by the animistic traditions, particularly through Tristan.
As for our beloved Samuel, all I can send home is his heart.
Tristan, above all, embodies the essence of an animist, holding a steadfast belief that everything possesses a soul. The wind, the trees, the animals, and even the organs of a living being.
When the hunter cuts out its warm heart and holds it in his hands, setting its spirit free.
Throughout the movie, we witness Tristan, guided by his mentor and friend, One Stab, as he deepens his animistic understanding and connection to the world. This bond with nature is what provides him with the strength to endure the horrors that fate has in store for him. Other characters in the movie, such as Alfred and Susanna, do not initially enjoy such a connection to either their inner or the outer nature. Susanna, in particular, arrives as an innocent and lost girl from the city. However, during her stay with the Ludlows, she gradually awakens and strengthens her connection to the primitive, her true, authentic self. This transformation turns her into something far more than just another female backdrop in a soulless society. Tragically, circumstances conspire to lure her back into modern society with hollow promises and so-called common sense, Once again, Susanna ceases to exist in her true form, becoming what others want her to be. In the past, people believed that cutting off the head or sealing the nose of a statue would prevent the spirit within from breathing, causing it to wither away. Legends of the Fall tells a story about the dangers of losing access to your spirit's ability to breathe. It emphasizes the importance of acknowledging and integrating the primitive and natural aspects of life, allowing your spirit to thrive and grow strong, so that one can live as happy a life as fate permits. While Tristan holds a special place in the heart of our family, there is no denying that alongside the light that flows through him, he is also a man walking with shadows, grappling with his inner darkness and demons. This shadow, while destructive, is also what makes him human and relatable. And it is this shadow we now wish to explore. The Anima, the great feminine, is, in our view, the deepest wound within Tristan's spirit. This wound serves as the root cause of the many demons that continue to haunt him. His ongoing struggle with these demons not only tears at his own soul, but also affects those around him, whether he intends it or not. In analytical psychology, the mother archetype plays a pivotal role in the development of the psyche, particularly in the formation of the anima in males. The anima represents the personification of feminine qualities within the human psyche. This archetype shapes a man's interactions with women and his feelings towards feminine and supportive qualities, casting a long shadow over his inner emotional landscape and personal relationships. Tragically, Tristan's mother, Isabel, chooses to abandon her family to pursue her own desires for an urban life, leaving her husband and 3 sons to carve out their existence on the farm. While Tristan's brothers maintain contact with their mother through visits and letters, Tristan severed these ties completely, cutting her off indefinitely. The loss of a strong mother archetype in his life, coupled with his cold hatred towards her, resulted in Tristan's inner anima being suppressed, taking on a shadow form deep within his unconscious. This suppression led to difficulties in forming and maintaining relationships with women, manifesting as general distrust of humans, emotional unavailability, and conflicts in romantic and emotional connections.
Their mother went away for the winter. She said the winters were too cruel for her. She said she was afraid of the bears. She was a strange woman anyway.
To compensate for the lack of a healthy anima, Tristan found himself driven to overcompensate in other areas, a constant struggle to fill the void left by his mother's abandonment. This is most vividly reflected in his nearly neurotic need to protect his brother Samuel, who bears the weight of his brother's intense anima projections.
Angelica, there's a which one?
It's this one.
Samuel, embodying qualities typically associated with the anima, emotional sensitivity, gentleness, and a certain vulnerability, becomes the vessel for traits that both Tristan and Alfred struggle to integrate within themselves. Raised by a strong, stoic father in a rugged environment and deprived of a nurturing mother archetype, Tristan and Alfred grappled with these softer aspects of their psyches and spirits, making Samuel's presence both a blessing and a burden. As a result, Tristan and Alfred unconsciously saw in Samuel the idealized traits they felt they lacked or could not express openly. This led them to be overly protective, not just of a brother, but of an internalized ideal of their own vulnerability and emotional expressiveness. When Samuel tragically dies in World War I, the subsequent pain and emotional chaos forces Tristan and Alfred to confront their suppressed anima. Alfred, grounded in a modern lifestyle, simply found a new vessel for his projections in Susanna as his solution. Tristan, however, with his primitive spirit and the teachings of one stab, was propelled by his brother's death to travel the open seas. This journey prompted his individuation and spiritual healing, compelling him to slowly but surely integrate the various shadow aspects of himself, such as his anima, to achieve a higher level of spiritual and psychological wholeness. After his travels on the mighty seas, with the deep water symbolizing his journey into the depths of his unconscious, Tristan was finally ready to return to the farm. This new Tristan was capable of mourning his brother's death, confronting his sorrow and pain head-on. He had become more emotionally available, allowing himself to fall in love with Susanna, not the spectacle image of his former projections, but the real Susanna, seeing her in all her wild glory for who she truly was. And they were happy for a time. In the novel, Tristan discovers a letter from his deceased brother Samuel, where he expresses his deep devotion towards Tristan and his hopeful plans for his own future. One's shadows and demons never truly vanish, and this letter served as a catalyst, awakening Tristan's inner turmoil once again. Slowly but surely, he began to slip back into his previous state, with a shadow-covered anima, which quickly starts to take its toll on his spirit and mental well-being. The last drop comes when Tristan finds a calf ensnared in barbed wire. Desperately, he tries to free it, but as he does, all the dark feelings rush over him like waves, mirroring the day he failed to protect his brother. Just as then, there was no saving this innocent spirit, the only possible release being death. As soon as the calf draws its last breath, Tristan is once again consumed by his shadows, growing increasingly aggressive and distant. After an especially painful night, Susanna tries to wake up Tristan from a deep sleep. In his sleeping, unconscious state, Tristan is fully at the mercy of his inner demons and grasps for his knife, pointing it at Susanna. This was it. Tristan knew he had passed beyond the point of no return. He had lost control. He couldn't continue like this, so once again, his inner bear urged him to seek out the great ocean for healing and wisdom once more. However, this journey of healing would not be as easy as the last. To truly heal, Tristan would have to traverse the world's vast expanse, confronting all manners of beasts, shadows, and inner darkness. The old Tristan had to die so he could be reborn anew. If you are enjoying the content so far, don't forget that we would love to hear what part of Tristan resonates the most with you. Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe if you want to secure yourself a little more spirituality in your everyday life. With that said, let's get back to the video. Now that we've finished exploring Tristan's shadow, it is time to explore what makes him such a force of warmth who always manages to light up both people or the direst of situations or circumstances. And just like the bright light consists of a combination of multiple color, so too does the light of Tristan consist of integration of multiple archetypes into his soul. This includes the bear, the warrior, the wounded healer, the rebel, the lover, and his already mentioned deep and dark shadow. This combination of archetypical spirits is what drives Tristan to be such a force of healing, protection, and authenticity, no matter the darkness surrounding him. And before we get into it, just a small warning that some key events will be referred to multiple times since, well, they are events of such a scale that were the direct cause for the integration of multiple archetypes. But let's start with maybe the most famous one. The bear's presence in Tristan's life, especially during significant moments, underlines his alignment with this primal force. This connection is animistic in nature and serves to highlight his understanding and welcoming the natural world and its direct influence on his identity. The spirit of the bear acts as Tristan's guide and protector throughout his life, leading him through the most challenging of trials and the darkest of moments. This spiritual guide appears at pivotal times, providing Tristan with strength, wisdom, and a sense of purpose, reminding him of who and what he actually is. For instance, when Tristan grapples with grief and guilt after Samuel's death, the bear's spirit shows itself for Tristan, symbolizing and reminding him of the inner strength he must summon to navigate his inner pain. In moments of reflection, Tristan's connection to the bear encourages him to delve deep into his own soul, confronting his fears and embracing his true nature. The bear's spirit helps Tristan tap into his inner reserves of power, fostering a self-awareness and acceptance of the wild, untamed essence. This spiritual bond with the bear is a crucial element of Tristan's identity, shaping his actions and decisions throughout his life. Tristan's warrior archetype is most vividly portrayed through his experiences in World War I. Unlike his brothers, Tristan is driven primarily by a personal mission to protect his younger brother Samuel and fulfill his promise to Susanna to bring Samuel home safely. Tristan's lack of interest in the broader implications of the war itself underscores his singular focus on family loyalty and personal duty rather than lofty and ego-based goals. The horrors of war would leave a lasting impact on Tristan, marking him with both physical and emotional scars. Witnessing Samuel's brutal death devastates him, fueling a deep sense of guilt and anger that haunts him like a specter throughout his life. Tristan's approach to life is inherently combative. He faces challenges head-on, whether it's protecting his family, seeking vengeance for Samuel's death, or standing up to corrupt authorities. His warrior spirit is evident in his fierce loyalty and his willingness to take drastic measures to defend and avenge those he loves. This archetype is showcased by his bravery and resilience, as well as the intense inner conflict and lack of true peace that often accompanies a warrior's life. The battlefields Tristan fights on are many and varied. Not only are they physical, but also psychological, as he struggles to reconcile his warrior instincts with the emotional wounds he carries. This makes Tristan's character and journey a compelling exploration of the warrior's path, one marked by sacrifice, endurance, and unwavering commitment to his own code of honor. Tristan Ludlow embodies the archetype of the wounded healer, a figure who, through his own suffering, gains the empathy and strength to heal others. The deep grief and guilt he feels after Samuel's death becomes central to the strong integration of this archetype and his identity, haunting him and shaping his actions and relationships. Because of these wounds, Tristan seeks to heal and protect those around him, his compassion deeply intertwined with his own suffering and his ability to empathize with pain, which makes him a source of strength and understanding for the people around him as he grapples with his own traumas and demons. Marrying Isabel II and starting a family gives him a sense of purpose and a new avenue to channel his healing energy, something he was unable to do with Susanna. With his new family, he can work to create a stable and nurturing environment for their children, creating both a healing environment for them and, by doing so, also himself. As a father, Tristan's behavior is deeply influenced by his experiences as a wounded healer. He strives to be a guiding and protective figure for his children, even when circumstances force him to be apart from them, as a result of him avenging the killing of Isabel II. In the book, Tristan continues to send letters and visit his children, all infused with wisdom and love, reflecting his desire to offer support and healing despite his own struggles and wounds. Tristan's rebellious nature is a defining aspect of his character, shaping his journey and the choices he makes throughout Legends of the Fall. From a young age, Tristan exhibits a fierce independence and a deep-seated disdain for authority and societal norms. I mean, how many sneaks out at night to poke a sleeping grizzly? This rebellion is not just a rejection of external constraints, but also a reflection of his internal struggle to find freedom and meaning in a world that often feels restrictive and suffocating. From his earliest years, Tristan's defiance is evident. Raised in the rugged Montana wilderness by his father, Colonel Ludlow, Tristan is encouraged to think and act independently, far from the chains and structures of society. This upbringing fosters a strong sense of autonomy and independence, but it also sets the stage for his lifelong conflict with the modern societal expectations. Tristan, just like his father, frequently clashes with figures of authority, displaying a consistent unwillingness to submit to rules that he perceives as nonsensical or unjust. Tristan's rebellious spirit is further ignited by the traumas and losses he endures. The death of his beloved brother Samuel, amplifying his disillusionment with the established order of society. When Tristan fails to deliver on his promise to protect Samuel, Tristan's contempt for the senseless brutality of war and the responsible authorities grows even deeper. Due to the archetype of the rebel, while Alfred pursues a stable and by societal norms a more respectable life, Tristan's journey takes him down a darker, more turbulent road. His involvement in illegal smuggling activities during the Prohibition exemplifies his rejection of societal laws and norms. Tristan defies the law, driven by a desire to carve out his own destiny on his own terms. Tristan is not only driven to rebel against the external world, but also the internal. A good example of this is his decisions to leave home repeatedly to heal or find meaning. It highlights his inability to reconcile with his self-imposed image of the life he is expected to lead. The internal rebellion manifests in many ways, including his often reckless behavior and nonchalant attitude. Despite the chaos and danger that this rebellion brings, his rejection of societal constraints should be seen as a quest for authenticity and self-determination. And it is this quest which allows Tristan to find his own identity in a society which increasingly cares less and less about who you actually are, an archetype which Susanna lacks, resulting in her losing her sense of self, which ultimately causes her tragic passing. Tristan's role as the lover archetype is central to the emotional narrative of Legends of the Fall. His relationships with both Susanna and Isabel II are intense, passionate, and often tumultuous. With Susanna, Tristan's love is marked by a deep, almost mystical connection. From the moment they meet, there is an undeniable chemistry between them, a pull that neither can resist despite the many obstacles in their path. Susanna arrives at the Ludlow's ranch as Samuel's fiancée, and her presence quickly becomes a source of tension and longing for Tristan. Their relationship is faced with multiple impossible barriers, making it doomed to fail, including Samuel's death, Tristan's internal struggles, and his restless spirit, amongst others. Their relationship is an exploration of deep, unfulfilled love, where intense passion is constantly thwarted by external circumstances and internal conflicts outside their control. This dynamic illustrates the complexities of human affection, where love is not always enough to overcome the obstacles that life presents. In contrast, Tristan's relationship with Isabel II offers a brief respite from the chaos that defines much of his life. Isabel II, who has loved Tristan since childhood, represents a chance for Tristan to find true peace and fulfillment. Their marriage is a period of stability and happiness for Tristan, where he experiences the joy of both being able to give and receive love like only a loving family life can. And a big part of that is Isabel too, being someone who understands and accepts him completely. Isabel too's love is steadfast and unwavering, providing Tristan with a sense of belonging and purpose that he, as a person with a strong integration of the lover, has long sought. It's worth noting that Tristan's capacity for love extends beyond his romantic relationships, but also includes his deep love for those he views as family, including Alfred and Samuel, and his father, Colonel Ludlow, and one stab. The lover in Tristan is a source of both joy and deep sorrow, highlighting the dual nature of any archetype. Tristan's journey is an exploration of the power of love, its ability to bring both immersed joy and deep sorrow, and its enduring impact on the human spirit. Through his experiences, Legends of the Fall paints a rich and nuanced portrait of love in its many forms, capturing the essence of what it means to to be deeply and passionately human. Fate, ever unpredictable, continued to reveal its chaotic nature to Tristan time and again. After enduring a spiritual death, he found solace and deep love in Isabel too, who had known since childhood that her destiny was to be Tristan's wife. Their intense and abiding love brought forth two beautiful children, a beacon of hope in a time of challenge. Yet, fate was relentless, denying Tristan a life of peace and comfort. Tragedy struck, claiming the life of Isabel too, and the subsequent fallout made Tristan a wanted man. To ensure the safety of his children, he left them in the care of Alfred and went back to being a man on the run. Despite these heart-wrenching losses, Tristan remained steadfast, striving to be a strong presence in his children's lives. Though his fugitive status cast a shadow over their relationship, he endeavored to provide guidance and support, doing his best under the harshest of circumstances. His love and commitment endured, a testament to his indomitable spirit. Every journey has its end, and when the time came for Tristan to return to the spirit realm, the spirits honored him with a warrior's death. His animal totem, the bear, sought him out one final time, and in its crushing embrace, it completed Tristan's transformation from man into legend. A legend is a tale spun from the threads of myth and memory, woven with the essence of the human spirit. It is a story that transcends the ordinary, etched in the hearts of those who hear it, echoing through generations. Legends carry the weight of truth and the shimmer of fantasy, embodying the virtues, vices, and eternal struggles of mankind. They are the sacred songs of our ancestors, the whispered secrets of the earth, and the eternal dance between light and shadow. In the embrace of a legend, the soul finds both solace and adventure, as it journeys through the realms of the known and the mystical, ever seeking the heart of the human experience. While the legend of Tristan sprang from the pen of Jim Harrison, his thoughts, his writing on paper, are merely a wave created by the currents of the human spirit. The spirit of Tristan has always existed. Jim Harrison was drawn into the realm of spirit and inspiration when he was visiting his in-laws' home, where he came upon the journals of his wife's great-grandfather, a mining engineer named William Ludlow. And in that moment, the spirit of Tristan stepped forward, demanding Jim to tell his story, his legend, so that it might inspire not only Jim Harrison, but also people all over the world. We are all spirits, the animals, the trees, the wind, your fellow humans. And when you were born, the world saw another soul born into this reality. And now, while you sit here, about to hit the end of this video, please reflect upon what spirits are behind those eyes of yours. Because soon, you too will be a legend among the stars. And who knows, someday you might be that legend that inspired the creation of the next bestseller or blockbuster to hit the screen. Stay spiritual, everyone.